Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's Top 5 Camps. I'm the Naked Ghoul, and as ever, I've got some incredible builds to show you from some of the best builders in the Fallout 76 community. Now, as per usual, the first half of this video is going to be best clean builds of the week, and the second half is going to be the best immersive builds of the week. So without further ado, let's crack on, shall we? In the number 5 spot, we have Silver Bunny with the Feeling Knotty Salon. So one of the things I liked about this is the randomness of the shape on the outside. You don't see many people using the Slopey Boys that often. Well, that particular variant of Slopey Boy. You know, they can be quite a pain in the arse to work with. I reckon Bunny's done a decent job with them though, and it does make this build stand out. Now, interior-wise, if you hadn't guessed by the title, Bunny's made a hair salon. And yeah, I think it looks like, well, an hair cutting shop. Now, yes, granted, I don't actually step foot in many hair salons for a number of reasons. One being I'm not a female, and two, I like to have the hobo kind of look. But from what little I have seen, I'm guessing this is a fairly accurate recreation of one. Yeah, we'll go with that. Overall, Bunny, I think you've done a pretty decent job on this. Like I said, I did like the uniqueness of the exterior and the inside of it. Yeah, it's an hair shop, innit? Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 5 spot. In the number 4 spot, we have the Flailing Fox with the Seneca Rocks Temple build. Now, this thing is quite impressive. It's also quite large, and yes, that is exactly what she said. So, first thing I do want to say to you, mate, is congratulations for having the patience to build on Seneca Rocks. It's not an easy spot. I don't know how many of you watching have actually bloody well been up here, but yeah, the terrain is like the surface of the bloody moon. It's really not an easy place to put down your camp. But yeah, when you do actually put a bit of time into it, you can come up with something special. And the views from up here, they're awesome. Now, Fox, I love the exterior of this thing. It looks really well put together. That Palace of the Winding Path kit is absolutely killing it here. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the amount of exposed foundations. And to be honest with you, that's the only reason this build isn't placing higher. I do get it though, pal. Like I say, I know it's not easy to build up here, and just being able to get them foundations down is an achievement in itself. So yeah, fair play to you, mate. Now, interior-wise, with this being a temple, there isn't much in terms of, like, you know, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. However, it does very much look like you'd expect a temple to look like. I can't really say much more on that subject. It's all very grandiose, I must say. Now, I do like this room here that you've made. I think that roof looks absolutely stunning. That's a really nice place to be in. And you know what, Fox? Overall, yeah, this build looks really impressive. It's very well put together, and you've done a fantastic job on it. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the number 4 spot. Now, in the number 3 spot this week, we have Yeah Bear, and I'm sorry I can't do my usual introduction for you, my friend, but it feels like I've deep-throated a cactus at the moment. Anyhow, enough of that. What we've got here is a rather unusual build, the Haystack Homestead, and I think this is probably one of the most unique structures I've seen in a long time. Is this strictly a clean build? I don't know, but what I am saying is you couldn't use old pre-war haystacks to make this house, could you? Because they'd be... well, there won't be an haystack anymore, it'd just be slush on the ground. So yeah, we're going for clean. Bear, I've got to admire your dedication on this one, my friend. You have literally built an house using nothing other than haystacks and a couple of glass wall pieces. That's very impressive. Honestly, I can't imagine how long that bloody thing must have taken to, you know, line up and put together. Yeah, that looks like a kick in the penis waiting to happen. But yeah, I like it. It's different. It certainly stands out, and it's very ingenuitive, I think the word is. That's one we've not used in a while. Interior-wise, there isn't too much going on, but it is a, you know, haystack house. What are you expecting, really? A fully fitted bloody kitchen? Nah, of course you're not. That'd be bloody ridiculous. I must say, though, I think you're a brave man putting a fireplace in a haystack. You know, it's just a fire waiting to happen. But dude, overall, this thing is really, really impressive. Like I say, it's definitely thinking outside the box, and yeah, it's just mad, innit? Thank you very much for entering this week, my friend. Congratulations on the number 3 spot. Hats off to you, mate. Coming in at number 2, we have Shez79 with the White Spring new builds. And again, this is a really clever idea. I've never seen it done before, and it looks absolutely bleeding fantastic. What Shez has done is made a couple of, you know, ready-to-move-in show houses. Look, she's even got a little sales office there. That's nice, isn't it? Now, these are quite simple builds, guys, but there is some trickery going on. I love the way you've made, like, a little support beam at the side there. Is that the abandoned mineshaft wall that's just been destroyed? I don't know. Let me know down in comments, because either way, it looks phenomenal, and I am going to be stealing that. Now, as well as the little support Beamy Boy 1200s, we've also got an odd-shaped window here as well. Can you see that there? Aha, of course you can. Yes, that's very intriguing, isn't it? Again, a little bit of building wizardry, but like I say, overall, these whole builds, they're nothing too difficult. You could do something like this, guys, with a little bit of effort. And the best part of it, they look absolutely fantastic. These are stunning creations, and the fact that Shez has done 3 of them, that just makes it all the much better for me. Now, the interiors on these are very nicely decorated. Obviously, they're not packed to the rafters with shit, because we're following a theme here. Although, we do have all the basic amenities, and that staircase there, guys, that is beautifully made. Fair play to you on that one, Shez. That's turned out really smart, that has. Shez, thank you very much for entering this week. You've done a stunning job with this camp. Congratulations on the number 2 spot. In the number 1 spot this week, we have a very familiar face to the competition. It's Rug Glitch Round Boy with the Skyglass Remastered camp. And guys, wow. Take a look at that bloody thing. I mean, first off, the location. That's not an easy spot to build in, so that's one thing to add to the how many aneurysms did Cowboy have making this camp list. Another thing to look at is how well the structure actually fits around this monorail tower. It's absolutely perfect, isn't it? Moonlight, you've smashed this one yet again, pal. I don't know what it is about you choosing difficult locations, but every time you pull it off, no worries whatsoever. Even, you know, ignoring the technical aspects of this build, it looks really nice as well, doesn't it? I mean, look how he's used the actual tower's opening at the top as a living space. Personally, I think that looks really smart, guys. I don't know about you lot watching, but yeah, that's probably my favourite part about this build. Overall, Moonlight, I think you've knocked this one out at park, pal. Technically, it's a really difficult one to do, but like I said, the way you've lined it up around the tower is it's pretty much perfect. And visually too, it looks like a really nice camp. Yes, it's quite small, there's not much to it, but that interior, despite it being, you know, the size of a bean can, I think you've used it to its maximum potential. I did like this one, Moonlight. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the number 1 spot in the clean builds category. Now that wraps it up for all the swanky looking builds. Next up, we've got all the immersive lot. Now, I will say we do have 2 more clean builds to show you. However, they are going to be honourable mentions, and I'll put them in with the immersive mentions later on in the video. Now then, just before we take a look at this week's immersive builds, if you want to submit your own camp to the top 5, take a look in the description of this video. You'll see a link to my Discord. All you got to do is follow it, and then, yeah, submit your builds into this section here. It's really simple to do, and who knows, next week you could be in the top 5 camps. Anyway, let's take a look at this scrappy bunch, shall we? In the number 5 spot for the immersive category, we have Twisted Rose with the Shabby Chic Shack, I'm guessing it is. I don't know, Shabby Chic Abode. And my god, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. In all honesty, on any other week this would have been submitted, it would have been higher up in the list, but the immersive builds this week were just, wow, they were just next level, as you're gonna see. Now, my favourite thing about the exterior of this build is the overhanging roof pieces, hands down. They really do make so much of a difference. And yes, it does take a little bit of building wizardry to actually get them in place, but look at the overall effect. Imagine that without them overhanging roofs, and it'd be a totally different build. I also really like the decking on this thing as well. There is a bloody lot of it, but it looks really smart, doesn't it? And the fact you've used underpinnings to hide the foundations, that's always a win in my book. You know how I feel about them, guys. In my opinion, any foundation, well, it needs to be covered. Now, interior-wise, I still think this looks rather scrappy, even though it's obviously cleaner than the outside of the place. I don't know, to me it has that old person kind of vibe about it. A little bit neglected and stuck in the past, if you get what I'm saying. Like I say, it's a totally different vibe than what I'm getting on the exterior. Now, Rose hasn't held any punches when it comes to the decor either. I mean, just take a look at that bloody merged out fireplace, oven, stovey thing she's got going down there. That's got more components than a mildly advanced Lego set. Not top tier, obviously, because there's like 20 odd thousand pieces in there. What we're going on about? Rose, in a nutshell, this build is fantastic. Your exterior looks bloody amazing, and your interior, like I said, despite it being totally different to what you'd expect it to be, it works really nicely. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the number 5 spot. In the number 4 spot, we have Pebu666 with the Atom Cats Garage. And yeah, this was one of my favourite builds of the week, guys. For a kick-off, the exterior of this thing, if you're thinking of a junky, scrappy, Fallouty kind of build, this one ticks all the boxes, doesn't it? I think my favourite bit about it, though, is the sign you've made there out the hot rod. I have seen somebody else doing that, and I can't remember the bloody name, but they have been in the top 5, and I loved it on that build, and I love it on this build as well. Ah, yeah, fair play to you, pal. Interior-wise, it is what you pretty much expect it to be. It is a garage, so it's going to be scrappy, it's going to be scruffy, and there's not going to be many creature comforts in there. Personally, Pebu, I think you've nailed the decor. You've not gone too overboard. It's just the right level of decoration, and I do like how you've put all the conduits on the floor as well. That's a nice touch. Speaking of conduits, I like how you've put that conduit in the vise as well. That's a clever idea, that is. Fair play, man. Pebu, like I say, this build was one of my favourites. I've got nothing bad to say about it, and yeah, you've absolutely knocked it out of the park, my friend. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congratulations on the number 4 spot. In the number 3 spot this week, we have Dela with the Fisherman's Flophouse. And guys, let me tell you, the gap between this and the number 2 spot is a gnat's dick. You know, that there is nothing to separate them, really. The only reason this one hasn't come in said number 2 spot is because of the uniqueness of the next build I'm going to show you. So yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there, guys. Anyway, what Dela has done here is made a fantastically scrappy looking Fisherman's Rest, I think the correct term is. And he's chose a really good location to do it as well, because he's even got a little fishing boat. It's a shame the poor bastard that gets in it next is going to get munched by the giant dinosaur sticking out the water, innit? So the exterior of this thing is very, very scrappy. It's very war friendly. And yeah, this is the kind of thing you could expect to see in a wasteland. I think we can all agree on that, can't we? It looks like something that an idiot's thrown together with an hammer. There's loads of different building sets being used, and yeah, it just gives it a really scrappy vibe. As with all of Dela's builds though, the exterior isn't the only story. The decor and the level of detail that he puts into all of his creations is next level. I mean, come on, feast your eyes on it. Decorating builds in this kind of manner is not easy. I know I've said it millions of times now, but it's true. You can't just throw junk down and expect it to look good. You have to have some form of order to it. And that is exactly what Dela's done with this place. You know, he's even put in a fishing pole with a line attached to it. That's clever, that is. Dela, I absolutely love the structure itself, but as per most of your builds, like I said, my favourite part of it is the decor and the amount of time that you put into it. They always look fantastic, dude. Thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the number 3 spot. More than well deserved, my friend. In the number 2 spot, we have Fuzzbrain with the Earthlight Lounge Camp, and this is a properly unusual build. I've not actually seen the UFO prefab being used before. I mean, let's face it, it is a pretty niche bit of kit, isn't it? But I do like what Fuzzbrain has actually done with it. Now, he hasn't just whacked down a prefab and called it done. Fuzz has actually spent a lot of time making a perimeter wall, and the way he's done it is quite cool as well. He's not just got defensive walls and slammed them down. He's used a few different types of items, and I think that's the best way of doing it. If you're making a perimeter wall on anything, guys, don't just stick to one thing. You know, mix it up a little bit. Makes it look much more immersive. So on to decor, and on the outside we've got a load of shit scattered around. Makes sense, doesn't it? If you're making a war-friendly kind of build, yeah, the chances are it's going to have a load of crap all over the floor. Surprisingly though, if we take a look inside the UFO itself, it's fairly tidy in here. Sure, it still looks scrappy because of the furniture that's been used, but it's not a total clusterfuck, is it? You know, everything has some form of order to it, and yeah, Fuzz, I think you've done a really nice job with it, to be honest. Got a few merges going on. Like I said, I think you've used the right style of furniture, and everything's placed down in appropriate areas. You know, you've not got like random bloody, I don't know, Nuka-Cola bottles stacked up in a corner, for example. Fuzz, you've done a bloody solid job on this. Like I said, I love the unusualness about it. I don't even think that's a word, is it? And on top of that, pal, I think you've done a really good job at decorating the place and, you know, adding a little bit to prefab. Thank you very much for entering this week. Congrats on the number 2 spot, my friend. Right then, so now we need to find out who's in the number 1 spot, don't we? However, just before we get on to that, it's time for the honourable mentions section, yes. And like I say, guys, we've got 4 of them this time round. We've got the 2 from the clean section, and of course, we've got another 2 from the immersive section. So let's have a gander at them. Now, the first clean honourable mention goes to Traveller with this absolutely beautiful looking modern house. I mean, feast your eyes on that, guys. It's not a bad looker, is it? This is the kind of build you think of when somebody mentions a modern house in 76. We've got the Joseph Fritzl sound deadening wallpaper. We've got the glass. We've got the white walls. We've got the arrow slit-esque kind of windows. You know, it's ticking all the modern build boxes, innit? Now, the only reason this isn't in the top 5, my friend, is quite simply a lack of decoration. Now, I'm not sure if that's a budget thing because it is quite a large build, or that's just the design style you've gone for. I don't know. Either way, it's a really nice looking build, pal. I would have just liked to have seen more decor on it, you know, just filled up a little bit. Thank you very much for entering this week, Traveller, and congratulations on the honourable mention. Now, our second honourable mention goes to Siflik with the Temple of Zen build. Now, I quite like this one. The exterior, I'm not a massive fan of, although I do like that little tower you've got going down in the middle there. That's a nice touch. What really caught my eye, though, was the interior. I mean, just take a look at this, guys. That is one beautifully done Zen garden. That is actually fantastic work, Siflik. Now, while we're here, I am going to give another honourable mention to Nia because she did a very, very similar build to this in terms of the exterior. Just take a look at it. Can you see what I mean? Now, I don't usually show more than 2 honourable mentions, but these were so similar, I thought, you know what, sod it. They're both worthy of getting a mention. Now, straight up with you, I preferred the exterior of Nia's build. I much prefer that shape. However, I preferred the interior of Siflik's build. So, yeah, take what you want from that. Guys, thank you both very much for entering this week, and congratulations on your joint honourable mention, I guess. Yeah, I didn't come up with a catchy name for it. Right, so on to the immersive honourable mentions, and let me start by saying this right now. Both of these on any other week would have been in the top 5. It's just the level of building this week in the immersive category, it's just unreal. So yeah, anyway, let's take a look. The first honourable mention goes to Jawa with the comfort in the ash heap build. And Jawa, I'm sorry, this was so hard for me to put in the honourable mention. Like I said, this is a fantastic build, pal. The exterior of this thing, it's like a little miniature compound. I absolutely love what you've done with it. It's amazing, mate, to be quite honest with you. The same can be said for your interior too. Your decor is on point. It's filled to the rafters with shit. Yeah, this is a really good example of how immersive builds should be done. Jawa, thank you very much for entering this week. I'll say it again, this was a hard one to place, my friend. Congratulations on the honourable mention. Now, our final honourable mention goes to Dark One with Joyce's Junkatique, and I mean, look at it. This is top 5 worthy in it, but there was just so many good builds this week. It was so hard to place them. I love how you've done this one, pal. It's a very, very simple looking exterior, but the way you've done the inside of it, it is next level, mate. That decor, it's spot on, pal. It looks like a junk store. I can't fault that at all. The only thing that I would say for me is the exterior could have done with a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly what, but yeah, I know what I'm saying. Dark One, thank you very much for entering this week, and congratulations on the honourable mention. Right then, so back to the top 5, and who's in the number 1 spot for the immersive category? Well, I'm not going to keep you waiting for any longer. This week's winner is Aussie Kitty Cat with the hanging treehouse build, and guys, wow, this thing is stunning. It's a scrappy immersive build, but it still looks gorgeous as well. Now, this is a pre-existing location. Some of the ramps that you see here are already in-game, but the way Kitty Cat's integrated them into a build, yeah, it looks absolutely phenomenal. Oh, and just as a FYI, this is not an easy spot to build in. It may be a pre-existing location, but it doesn't mean it's bloody easy, let me tell you. Now, as well as a little trio structure, the decor on this place is, again, it's top-notch. There is so much attention to detail on it. We've got, in my opinion, just the right amount of junk, and it's all been placed down very thoughtfully. You know, it looks right. It looks like it's in its correct place. We've got merge glitches. We've got ladders and stairways made out of floating items. We've even got a little bit of realism as well. This particular bloody platform that Aussie Kitty Cat's got here, she's got it suspended by ropes. Now, that isn't a hard thing to do, but it makes sense, doesn't it? You know, gravity is a thing, and if it wasn't suspended, it'd fucking fall. Some builders don't seem to understand that, though. Aussie, this build is quite simple, it's sublime. It is one of the best tree houses I've ever seen. Thank you so much for entering this week, and congratulations on the #1 spot. More than well deserved. And thank you to everybody who's entered this week. As you can see, the bar is incredibly high at the moment, so if your camp didn't make it in, don't worry too much about it. Now, as I've said in my Discord, if you do want to discuss why your build didn't make it, my inbox is always open, so just fire me one across and I'll be honest with you. As ever, I'd like to say a massive thank you to all my channel members and Patreons. The extra support is much appreciated. If that's something that any of you guys are interested in, there's a link down in the description, as well as links to all my other socials as well. Anyhow, I love you and leave you, and I'll catch you next one.